Morning. My last set of guests come from athletes for the re-election of George Weah. And indeed, I have the national chairman, Mr. Clark Wilson, and the mobilization chairman, Mr. Fetcher Cody. They're already here in studio. But let's just inform you that by directive of the national campaign manager of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Honorable Len Eugene Nangbe, all appointed members of the national campaign team are hereby cited to an introductory meeting at 11 a.m. today, Tuesday. The meeting will be held in the conference room of the national campaign headquarters in the Old People Liberation Party building opposite the YWCA in Congo Town. And so you are all advised to arrive on time and be seated no later than 11 a.m. Serious matters pertaining to the first round victory of His Excellency Dr. George Weah will be high on the agenda. Can they note that only appointed members of the national campaign team, upon proper identification, will be allowed access to the conference room and the meeting proceedings. This is signed by Councillor Kanibag Bada, the National Campaign Spokesman, Coalition for Democratic Change. And still talking about the re-election of President George Weah. Like I said, the athletes for the re-election of George Weah. The two top officials of the group, they're here, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Cole. Good morning to the both of you.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Okay, great. Let me first start with you, Mr. Wilson, as the national chairman. Tell us, give us a brief history of the group. I know when we talk about athletes, it is a mixture of former sports, not just enthusiasts but players as well.
Certainly, and I want to thank you for inviting us here. It's overwhelming that we have a president that comes from this fraternity. The athletes for the re-election of President George Weah was born. I was driving home and thought about the idea. And I thought that as former footballers and former players, current and former basketballers, current and former volleyballers, current and former kickballers, current and former swimmers, boxers, chess players, you name it. I thought that we can sit by and allow an election where one of our own, we are proud to say one of our own, has ascended to the highest office in this land, and we can sit by and don't give our support for his re-election. Would be disingenuous to us. It would be a disservice to him. So I threw the idea to the Minister of Sports, Honorable D's Yoga Wilson, who bought the idea right away, and he told me, I'm in support. Let's mobilize. So from there, we've been mobilizing behind the scene. We've been having meetings. At the mobilizing chair, Mr. Frederick Cole, he's a personal friend of mine, and we shared the idea.
Okay.
And he thought that it was a good idea, and we could make this work. And we've been working behind the scene. And just last Saturday, we had a mass meeting at the Antoinette Topman Stadium, where we had schools of former players and current players who have embraced the idea to come and be part of it. So basically, it was about mobilizing ourselves, forming a group that we identify with this president to support him in his re-election effort. And we are prepared to stand with him, to campaign for him, because we are proud to say he's one of our own.
Great. We'll talk more about, your engagements and how you intend to make that a reality. But let's get from your own footballing or whatever sport you were involved with. Let's know who are the vision bearers of this. Are you a retired footballer? Where did you play? And just give us your own footballing history. Then we'll go to Mr. Cole, because Mr. Cole was just telling me, off the mark that he's a roller,
Certainly.
So who are you?
Well, I like to talk about this, but sometimes it brings emotion to me because when I was growing up, the president used to play in the ministerial league, the corporation league, we used to call it.
Okay.
And I used to captain what you call the Falcons that you see right now. It used to be the LBS Mikat Falcons, and I was the captain for LBS Mikat Falcons. And we played in the corporation league. We played Telecom.
Okay.
And the president used to play for Telecom. And to tell you the truth, he was a rising star. I mean, they beat us twice in the corporation league. So from there, I was so focused. I'm a broadcast journalist by profession. Yeah, I used to be the youngest in television.
Wow.
So I was so focused on my work, so there was no way I had time until 1988 when I played in the county meet, and I took Montserrat County to the finals against Grand Jude.
Wow.
And the politics came into play.
And Grand Jude won.
And Grand Jude won. So there's a friend who's also part of this group they call Swag Gilman, who played for Grand Jude at the time.
Okay.
And I can always tell you that you stole the game from us. But after that, the late Setoli, peace be to his ashes, came running after me to play for Invincible 11. So I decided to make that a commitment.
Okay.
But that's the twist in it. The man who was my boss at the time, Gaswa Yamito, peace be to his ashes too, who was a mentor to me, told me that if you don't, because he was a huge and staunch Barrow fan and supporter, he said, if you don't play for Barrow, you will never wear the jersey of IE. Once I'm your boss. If you want to play football, you can go and leave this job. I mean, we're talking about the time when the rivalry between Mighty Barrow and Invincible 11 was high. So when I wanted to go practice, he would put me on evening assignments. So I could not practice. So Setuli got so frustrated with me. He said, Clive, if you can't practice, you can play on my team. Every time I went late to practice, he said, you can't play.
Wow.
So he kind of diminished my spirit that I had for Invincible 11. But when St. Joseph's came after me,
St. Joseph Warriors.
yes, under was the late Major Buple. Gaswa gave me all the playing time, the practice time. But the rest is history. The point is that as a footballer who's been in this area for many years, many of the friends that I have today, we play together. Even the Minister of Youth and Sports is a childhood friend who play on the same team. We used to have our team they call the AB Tower United. And he was growing up too in the Fiamma area. So basically, it is about what can we do to support this president in his re-election effort. And it will be disingenuous, like I said, to sit by and let this happen. That's how this.
But you did you play international football?
No.
I did
not.
Okay, let's hear you, Mr. Cole.
Okay, thank you very much.
Your football history.
Yeah. Okay, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I started playing for Mighty Barrow in the 80s, 1982. And peace be to his ashes, John Monkey Brown. Yeah, he was one of the best defenders in this country. And we used to practice at Raymond's Field on the L field. There where he saw me, the kid coming up, and he said, wow, the kid can be a very good defender. So he put me on the team, Mighty Barrow. And my first game was against Invisible 11. I used to play in the forward, number 8 positions. Again, we won 2-1. And from there, it was news all over. All the kids from Raymond Field, Factory Code, is on Barrow team. Yeah. And there's a guy on Invisible team, Teacher Gray, he's a call him. after the game, he came to me and he said, kid, I said, yes. He said, are you going to school? I said, yes, I'm going to school. I'm in college. He said, okay. I want you to continue because there are two things that can take you out of the game. Age and injury. You can be young and you can be out of the game. Once you get older, you can no longer play. So you got to push the pen. So I advise that you continue with your education. And that stuck in my mind. And I went through high school, college, and what have you. The question that you asked Mr. Wilson, no, I didn't go professional.
Oh, you don't go.
Yeah, okay. Because we're pushing the pen and we have our own, way to go, professional way to go.
Yeah, great.
So that's,
I mean, the thing is that you people have something in common, and that's the game.
Yeah.
Now, let's come back now to the group. Mr. Wilson was just giving a brief history about how the group was formed and some of the efforts being made to get everybody involved. With you as head of mobilization, how far have you gone with letting athletes, active and retired, get involved?
Yeah, okay. We came together, as Mr. Wilson said, and we decided to strategize to see how best we can get all the guys on board. And the reason why we named it athletes, because when people from different diverse background, especially from the football, the kickball, volleyball, basketball, boxing, and what have you. And we are cognizant of the fact that not every one of them are in support of what we are doing. So we have to go to them and explain to them and tell them, look, this is for us because this is one of our own. And if the common people down there can vote this man overwhelmingly, he can march in 15 countries, then you know that it's a victory for us. So we cannot sit back and let this go. We're all participating in this. So we talked to them and we told them why they need to come on board. And some of them saw the reason. So we are seeing people of like minds will join us to make the president and to make George Weah or second-term president. So we talk to them, we explain to them, and we show them the tangibles, those things that we never had before in the past. And we used to play on gravel. You imagine the Anthony Tottenham Stadium. We used to play on gravel. And we were so naive those days. We used to play in iron stuff. You can imagine that. You play on gravel and you play in iron stuff. And that stuff was for the grass. So we see around us now the thing that the president is doing. Look at the Invincible Park. Look at Clariton. Look at West Point. All these places have been transformed. That place we used to play before in the sand, in the mud, and on the gravel. So we talk to them. We say, look, you see, the president meant well for us at the time and then. So we need to do something. We cannot sit back. We have all the auxiliaries in this country, people pledging their support for the president. And this is where he came from.
And you at least can sit back.
Yeah. Can sit back. This is where he came from. And extending to the highest positions in the country.
So the mobilization has been going very well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Chairman. Just talking about the mobilization. So when you sell this, the idea to your colleagues, to people that you play with, what are they saying?
Well, we all know that, like Frederick said, not everyone gonna support the president, and we respect that. Politically, you have your own leaning. However, considering, we call this the fraternity.
Okay,
that's the title of this group, and the reason is we see ourselves as fraternal brothers and sisters. So if we have one of our own who has ascended to the highest office in this land and he's about to be re-elected, I think it would be disingenuous, unfair, and a disservice. So those that we have talked to, they've bought the idea. The momentum is high at this time, and there's a plan to launch on Thursday. I think we'll get to that.
This Thursday?
Yes, we are launching this Thursday, the CDC headquarters. But the plan is to march from the JFK, around the JFK. We'll form, a marching towards the CDC headquarters, and at the headquarters, we'll formally launch this group, Athletes for the Re-election of George Manuel Weah.
How does it boost the chances of the president?
Great. As you very well know, that we have current and former players across the spectrum of all sports, and not only in Monrovia or Montserrat County. Remember now, we have former and current players across the spectrum of all sports around the country. We intend to identify coordinators in every county that will mobilize and recruit members of this group. So it's underway already. We've talked to people from Bong and Basa. They've already been identified as coordinators, and they will be mobilizing their group to ensure that they be part of this effort. Okay. So it's across the country. It's national.
And when you talk about Mr. Cole, when you talk about current players, are you talking about the young ones?
Yeah, talking about the
because it's obvious. I mean, there aren't old players.
No.
Veterans like you stay playing. I mean, they are all young ones now.
Yeah, that's the fact that we're talking about the young ones, and because the old players now we have our own league, they call it the Luna.
Yeah,
like Old Timer National Association. Okay. So that's where we are. But we're talking about the present players, that the young ones that are coming up from basketball, football, track and field, and what have you.
Great.
Yeah.
And I was asking about the chances, because there are different auxiliary groups coming up.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently?
Thank you very much. Okay. As the chairman director said, we have to reach all spectrum. We have to cover all the counties, and we need to identify people within the counties.
Yeah.
That take up the responsibility to be able to talk to the young ones and the older ones. And the fact that this sporting event for every one of us, we want to ensure that indeed whatever discipline that you are playing or you are partaking, we want you to excel to the highest peak, because this is where our leader came from, and he ascended to the highest peak. So we encourage them that indeed what you are doing, you need to do it to the best of your ability. We encourage them, and we'll talk to them, and we'll nurture them.
Okay.
That's I think that we'll be doing to ensure that indeed there will be a difference in the applications and the performance.
Yeah, Mr.
To add to what Frederick is saying, we have the co-chair for mobilization. He played for Montebaro. He played for Defensive Aiders. They call him Gibson Yokbo. Gibson mobilized some of the young guys in his community.
Okay.
And they came to the meeting that day, and you could see the enthusiasm in them, the energy to support this effort. So we are across the spectrum. We have current players who play in the National League. We have former players who are retired. So, but the key things that are moving us. And sometimes when I talk about this or when I think about it, people tend to have their own view on it. I am a leadership professional. I wear many hats. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So, but one of the key things as a leadership professional is what I've seen in this president. His leadership skills, his style is extraordinary, is exemplary. The things that he's doing in the communities. I grew up in a challenging community on the bypass, down the hole. Now they call it a Rock Spring Valley. Those are challenging community, and to build parks that these people can go to. It's a strong emotional connection there. It's psychological, it's emotional. And that's something that is very powerful, very powerful. And I don't want anybody to think that someone who goes to that park every day to play, to do other things that eases the stress on them. You think that the president is disengaged? No. Once the person goes there, they see the president, they see that connection, and it's emotional in itself. And the other thing, and as a result, there are two categories of leadership approaches that I think I can describe this president.
Go ahead.
One, he's a servant leader. Two, he's a transformational leader. I mean, the passion that he has for this country, the deep passion that he has. The president wakes up Liberia, he sleeps Liberia, he thinks Liberia, he sneezes Liberia, he talks Liberia. I mean, that is the kind of passion that he shows. I mean, a one person as a servant leader who is attentive to the concerns of his people. There's no way you can beat that. And for people on the other side to think that they can beat the president is tragicomic, because he's going to beat them in the first round. And that's why we are working so hard.
And there where I was coming, you talk about the fraternity aspect of it, Mr. Cole.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was thinking if the football, the sports connection was the only thing attracting you, but now he's naming tangible, development, all that. Is it something that you intend to, in your messaging, in your effort, to canvass, to campaign when campaign opens? Is it something that you also be forming part of your messaging?
Definitely,
you go out.
Definitely. So that's what we'll be doing, and that's the message that we'll take across. Just what the chairman just alluded to. That's the message we'll carry to the people, because I mean, everyone have eyes; they can see. You don't have to shy away from that. You're seeing what the president is doing. All the tangibles are there. So that's the message we'll be carrying to the people, so they can understand that indeed he can do more, and he will do more when we give him the chance for the second time. So that is our message, and we'll preach it as long as we live until the president can be re-elected.
So Mr. Wilson, how do you intend to do that, to vigorously campaign and get the message across? You're talking about getting coordinators in the various counties. Are you going to be traveling from counties to counties?
Certainly, we have to. That is how we're going to build our base. And once we are there, we'll be able to, create events, sporting events in those different counties to mobilize. And I think what's going to attract them too during the campaign drill, we believe when the president is traveling, those are plans that we have that will be part of our strategy to ensure that the awareness is there before he can arrive in those counties. So those are the things that the mobilizing chairman and his group going to be working on. But one thing, Vafle, before I forget, and that's something for us to think about in this country. A president who has come and thinking about the concern of his people, a person who wants to serve his people and begin to do things that impacting the people. When we talk about the infrastructure development, building roads, connecting this country, that you can travel from Monrovia to Harper in no time, that is laudable. Connecting the other part of the country from Ganta to Saclay to Logatua in no time, to Campley in no time, that is laudable. And I think if we can give this president the second chance, he can finish those things. Let me give you a story. In the American politics, you have the Democratic Party and the Republican.
Yep.
And a president who came from nowhere and became president in that country, Barack Obama. Barack thought about the people, their needs, and how health insurance is a huge thing in our country. So Barack crafted a bill where the Republicans referred to it as Obamacare. They thought in their effort. I mean, tooth and nail, they fought that to beat it down. But because the people felt there were benefits in that bill, Barack could not get it passed in his first term. As a result, the people felt that indeed, for this to become a reality, they should elect him for the second term. And it was in his second term when that bill was passed. It's a law in the United States, the healthcare law. So what I'm saying is that if they can give the president a second chance, a second term, there are a lot he would do in this country. And I can see it from what is unfolding and obtaining in this country right now.
People say, sports is not politics. Are you going to draw a line between, bringing politics into active sporting activities across the country?
Well, it's hard for me to fathom how you can separate. In all fairness, politics will be everywhere. Even in your household, you have politics there because there will be other people reporting other people. So those things happen. So in organization, there'll be politics. I mean, there's a book that I read that talk about recreating organizations, and within that, there's the political frame in our organization. There will always be politics. So the point I'm making is that to separate politics from sport, to a large extent, it can be, but to the largest extent, there's no way. So if we as athletes, current and former, are sitting by, and I keep repeating, maybe it becoming so monotonous now, but the point is, there's no way we can divorce that because the president ascended to the highest office in this land and it was through politics. And we as current and former footballers, basketballers, volleyballers, you name it, will stay by. And there's no way you can divorce that. Politics will always exist in any organization.
Let me come back to you, Mr. Cole, chairman of the for mobilization. 2017, we didn't see this kind of momentum building amongst athletes, but yet still the president got the victory that he got overwhelmingly. Is there any advantage this vigorous group and trying to go all out to ensure? Is it any advantage that we have different from 2017? Will you see some kind of increase and getting all athletes involved into the process?
Yeah, definitely. So you will see an increase. But you talk about advantage. We were present 2017, but not as a group.
Oh, okay.
But we were present. We went with the president all over this place to campaign with him. We have the president for the former players that was part of that campaign, and that was Mr. Washington Blade. So we had a bus and we went all over. So the fact that indeed we have come as a group, it will serve as a momentum and boost the momentum and have a very vigorous, stage on that part. But during the 2017, you couldn't see us because we were all part of the people doing the campaign.
Yeah.
But now that we have established ourselves and we're coming as a group, it gave more weight to the president re-election. So we're saying that indeed this is a laudable, gesture, and we want every athlete to be a part of this process.
And to add to that, we are more structured. We have a structure, and in fact, to also announce that on last Saturday, we were endorsed as an auxiliary under the CDC. So that makes it important that our presence.
So you officially recognized?
Yes, we are officially recognized. So it makes it even more compelling as to how we conduct, our activities leading up to elections. So that's something we are prepared to do. So we are more structured.
So as we speak, how many former and current athletes you have officially part of the group willing to go public in their support? I mean, membership base.
Wow. Thank you. That's a good question. And as the chairman directly said, on Saturday the 29th, I wish you are going to be there to see the number, because the national chairman came and he was kind of impressed. We had the numbers. Well, we're talking about almost close to 1,000 plus. And you will see it on Thursday. You will see on Thursday. From all discipline. We have Baxter there. They introduced themselves to the chairman, the national chairman, at the Anthony Tottenham Stadium during our last meeting on the 29th. So you will see we have Baxter there. We have swimmer. We have 2 girls there. We have a volleyball. All of them were there. Were present. All discipline. So,
Mr. Chairman, let's talk about the launch on Thursday.
Yep.
Give us a detail, regarding the launch.
Well, what we did was to prepare ourselves for Thursday, and we want to extend thanks and appreciation to some of our people who have contributed to this process, to this program. Honorable Eugene Namwe, Minister Dees Yoga Wilson, Mr. Alvin Brown, Honorable Mary Braw, Mr. George Yo, Basi Kovesco Basi Gia, Minister Andy Kwame. They've been so enthusiastic about this, and they've contributed to the process. So here's what we've planned. On Thursday morning at 7:30, we will be assembling right before the JFK on Topman Boulevard. We'll form ourselves and then march to the CDC headquarters. And we plan to wear T-shirts to identify ourselves and to carry banner to identify ourselves. Then we'll march to the headquarters, and at the headquarters we will be formally launching the athletes for the re-election of George Manneh Weah. And we are inviting some of our key and prominent persons within the party. We're hoping that the national campaign chair can be there. We are hoping that the auxiliary chair can be there. And even the chair of the CDC, the coalition, can be there. So we expect an array of individuals who will come to embrace this occasion. And if we talk about some of our prominent former players, we had in the meeting some of the guys who play, and I will name some of them. Forgive me if I forget your name, but you were there. Kofi Parry, who used to play for defensive invaders. Isaac Lincoln, Isaac Lincoln, right?
Yeah, man.
Used to play for defensive invaders. Gibson Yorkmore played for both Barrow and defensive invaders. So we have prominent former players who are supporting this effort. So it's broad based. Alfred Hammond, Hissa Gray, and you name them. So with that kind of enthusiasm, we believe that this program on Thursday will be very, very successful. And the mobilizing person have been.
Is the president expected to attend?
Well, we will hope that he can do that, but I'm sure he will be engaged with national duties. So, but we looking forward to a key representative or seeing him there, on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Ko, you want to add?
Yeah, and on that day at the headquarters, we'll be having a lot of sporting activities going on after the lunch.
Okay.
We expect to have a football game, volleyball, kickball at the same time. So we'll encourage everyone to come, because especially those that will be a part of the match. So after the lunch, we'll use the time to fellowship on the headquarters of the CDC.
Great.
Yeah.
To just add something before I forget, we also sent out letters to other prominent persons that will be making follow up with them today. And we're hoping that they will be kind enough to support this effort. With all naming names, but we're looking forward to reaching you today, and we're hoping that you will, help us make this successful on Thursday. So we will be reaching out to you immediately after this studio interview. So thank you.
Great. Well, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. My name is Vafle Kamara. This morning, I'm playing host to Mr. Clark Wilson. He is the national chairman for athletes for the re-election of George Mane Weah. Also in studio is the mobilization chairman, Mr. Frederick Cole. And we're talking about the organization, its efforts to ensuring the re-election of President George Weah. Now, I know your message is not just directed at athletes, getting them on board.
Sure.
Are you targeting non-athletes?
Well, we're open to that. The reason we are open to that is to ensure, because we're using different prong of approaches. We know that athletes who shared our thought, who shared the same thinking that we have, will come on board. But those that we think, because in America we got what we call the undecided, and those are the people that you go after, because you already got people who supporting you. So we are looking forward to, wooing some of those people who are undecided right now and who are athletes. However, beyond that, there are people who can join our rank and file who are not athletes. Maybe they are supporters, they are fans who love the sport. It could be basketball they love, it could be football, it could be kickball. And because we want to make it broad-based and reflective of the kind of sports that is across the continuum. So I'm saying that people who support the sport, whether they support swimming and you want to be part of this group, we are open to you. We embrace you. So it's about anyone who can come in and help us re-elect this president. We are willing to accept that person.
Okay. You have some, retired professional footballers, maybe the Minister of Youth and Sports. Is he involved?
Certainly. He's like I told you from the beginning. He was the one that I shared my thought with.
Okay.
And he said, "Brilliant idea, Clark. Go ahead. I will give you all the support." And he's been very supportive of this effort. And to realize that on Thursday we can launch successfully, I think it will be a new beginning. So yes, and I want to say in this manner, thank you, Mr. Minister, for all the support that you've given this group.
Again, just to re-emphasize, the reasons for which you have decided to come together as former and current athletes to support the president. If you go out there during your engagements, maybe you can start, and Mr. Cole can add up why you think President Weah should be re-elected.
Great question. And I would just outline a few things that I think and I believe that this president should be re-elected. In education, first of all, looking at people who could not afford to pay the fees for their children who were going to the WAS exam, and for him to take that responsibility to pay their fees. I mean, you saw the thank you event at CDC headquarters. It was swarmed by people who wanted to be part of it and say thank you to him. It shows and demonstrates their pure desire of people who believe that this president is doing a great work. And then we look at the reason why he should be re-elected. The macroeconomic stability that he has created, making sure that the government does not borrow from the central bank, and paying people on time. People just received their July salaries. That tells you that this president is passionate about the work that he does. Then you look at the road connectivity. If you could have the president trying to connect Nimba, Grand Jeddah, and Maryland by way of the highway, and even Lufa, that tells you that this president is passionate about the work that he does. Then, if you look at health, the president, and this is a big deal. We might want to downplay it. The president built a hospital called the 14th Military Hospital. That's a big deal because he wants to show that his people are healthy. And then in Bapolo, another hospital was built that was just dedicated, the Emirate Hospital. So I think with all of these different projects and initiatives, the president deserves a second term.
Mr. Cole?
Yeah, thank you very much. My chairman is a politician, you have said it all. But let me
he wears plenty caps.
Yeah, plenty caps. So let me digress a little bit and come. You see, this president, he has no boundary in terms of giving back to his people. He have done a lot, and as the chairman said, cannot explain all. But this is someone that he have done a lot for the players in this country, and most of them they are here, and they can be a testimony to that. He have helped them out of the country and in Liberia. So what the president always said that indeed what he's doing is not for himself, but for the Liberian people. And these are things that we are seeing. You can see the tangibles all around here. So there's no argument about it. So the message will go out. It's left with you as an individual to decide what you want for yourself and what you want for this country. Because you have told on numerous occasions that he's not a politician and he's doing what he's doing it for the people of this country. So the president is someone that, he has no boundary in terms of what he do for people. His gesture is overwhelming. And this is what he's doing. This is what he demonstrated.
And to add to what Frederick just said, within that fraternity, the president has demonstrated his love towards his colleagues. Many of his colleagues that play with him on the national team. And this president, during the Civil War, the height of the Civil War, was single-handedly responsible to move the teams when they were engaged in international competitions. That is laudable. And I think with that kind of effort that he made, I think people who are sitting aside and wavering and not knowing what to do should begin to think that indeed it's about time that they join us. And we send out the call. The call is that those of you who might be undecided, if something happened that you hold now, I think it's about time that you let it go. Because this president, on this leadership, with the kind of love that he has shown, a servant leader, a transformational leader that is so much immersed.
Are there some athletes who are dissatisfied?
Well, obviously, you will in any organization, you will find people who will be dissatisfied, and they may have their personal reasons.
Have you reached out to them?
But that's not the case. What we are doing is that through this medium, we are sending out a call that if you felt that something happened, I think it's about time that let's move on.
Okay.
A new page is about to be turned. And I think in the second term of this president, there are many things that are going to happen. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think President Weah has done well for this country.
Okay.
So yes, what I want, there's one last thing before I forget.
Yeah.
If you were to go to some of the slum communities,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that some of the communities have electricity. And there's a reason for that, because the community that this president grew up in at the time, it was a community that did not have access to electricity. And if this can happen, it means that he's transforming lives, he's changing lives. And for someone to sit in that community and be able to watch the DSTV without going into, upscale community, that is huge. And we must recognize that. Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can take some calls. You can call us on 080-514-096. Again, 080-514-096-7705-81886. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Call us on. Good morning. Good morning. Call us on 080-514-096 and be live on the Super Morning Show this morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
yeah.
family, and good morning to our studio guests.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
My name is David Gallagher, and I join you from the headquarters of the CDC on the Bagobe Avenue in Togo community. Family, I wholeheartedly appreciate and endorse the idea that this group of organizations coming up with. Family, this is no longer about President Paul Weah. This is about the destiny of our country, our children, and our children's children. The transformation of this country lies in the CDC and President George Weah. It's one of the biggest, emphasize on this. And that's the reason why all of the sectors of this country, you can see the deliverables, you can see that it is visible that all of the sectors are being transformed under this president. So we want to say welcome on board. Let us get all hands on deck. Let's support this president second term, because if we do it, we strongly believe that our hope and aspiration will come to life. Thank you for affording me the opportunity.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, family. Good morning. Good morning, family. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. What's your name?
Thanks for having me this morning, family. My name is Jamil Kudi, and I'm calling from Central Morgan this morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Family, I'm very impressed with the level of information provided that brought in the vision of professional analysts to come to support the president's second term. Family, it cannot be overstated that what all I will just outline in the studio by professional analysts and big brother is uncontestable. The records are there. It's glaring. It's not in the 18th century or the 16th century where you not have the ability to ascertain or to do a verification. All those things are outlined by those people in the studio. It's just a one click of internet to make sure to get information. So I just want to encourage and thank you for coming out, because they say your heart does not sell you, the street cannot buy you. So I would like to thank them for coming out to support the president's second term. And some of us who have joined the event, we are going to support the president's term. Family, let me end by this. It is just to note that our people in Lofa County, in Kola, currently, they are left posts are implanted, running now to my own county capital, Fujiman City. Those are things I will look at. Those are things I want to support the president's second term. That he want to complete those tasks that he's carried out, and for the sake of my Liberia, not just a personal interest. So again, I want to say thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Morning. Call us on 080-514-096. Good morning. Good morning. We're finding some difficulty with our Lone Star line. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, call us on 07705818886. 07705818886. Good morning. Good morning. Call us on 0770 instead 0770581886 and be live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, my name is Moses Chetoba, and I call from the United Wisdom community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say our brother in the studio there, thank you very much. We are with them, we stand with them, so that we can support the president's second term. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Well, thank you very much for the program. I'm Eric here, and I call you from Duboro.
Yeah, go ahead.
From my own view about this president, the man is irreplaceable for now. Yeah. So there's nobody I can wear charge down and say, oh, I want to replace him with this president. No. Because the president has a lot of projects going on. Many people sit down in Moreover and they are not traveling anywhere, so they don't know what is going on. So when you travel other parts of the country, see the roads and infrastructure project that is going on, you know that the president needs something for Liberia.
Okay.
So my own view, President George Manuel Weah is the best president since Liberia gained independence from the colonizer.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's hear from this person here. Good morning.
Good morning, Vavle.
Yeah, morning.
And good morning to your studio guest.
Yeah.
Vavle, my name is Mark Doko. And I called this morning from the National Response Bureau of the Coalition of Democratic Change in Congo Town, the national headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me appreciate your studio guest for the fly. You know, like one of them intimated about Barack Obama. In America, all of the work Barack Obama did during his first term, he needed to complete that work during the second term. So you saw multiplicity of young people rallying support for him to complete it. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist before you know that President Weah has done extremely well over the past 5 years period. And that is the reason why you see athletes are converging to support this president. We didn't see that in 2005, in 2011. But now, 2023, you see the conversion of addicts. It tells you that the president is not just cutting across the politics, but he's cutting across every segment of our democracy, of our life. So I want to appreciate them. Let me support this president and let all of us support the president initiative that he will be re-elected in 2023, October 10, and continue the developmental drive of our country. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. So we will end there for the core segment and go back to our guests to wrap up this presentation of the Super Morning Show. Let me start with you, Mr. Fetchiko.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say thank you for welcoming us here, and I want to call on all athletes. We know that indeed some of them don't share our ideas, our thoughts, and those of them who don't, we want to call on all of you to please come on Thursday and join us. This initiative is for all of us. It will be a victory for all of us. It will come to support this president's second term. So I want to thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much. Let's hear you.
Well, we want to say thank you, Vafle, for having us in studio. It was great with the interaction. But here is my call, and it's across this country. I'm asking former and current athletes across the sport spectrum, if you are supporting this president, if you intend to support this president, we ask that you begin to mobilize, begin to recruit. We'll be reaching out to you very soon. And then those in Monrovia, we say, have you been sitting on the fence or you are undecided? We ask you to join us on Thursday to march to the CDC headquarters and launch this group, the Athletes for the Re-election of George Manuel Weah. We want to thank you, and we hope to see you on Thursday at the JFK, where we'll begin to march to the CDC headquarters. Thank you, Vafle.
Thank you so much. Well, he is Mr. Clark Wilson. Also, you listen to Mr. Fetcher Cody from the Athletes for the re-election of Josh Mane. We are a group in support of the re-election of President Josh Weah. This is how we end this presentation of the Super Morning Show. My name is Vafle Kamara. You can join me tomorrow for another presentation of the